Hey, $50,000. That's Italian for $50,000. Hey, I'm just going to digress for for a few minutes here. I just feel in a little chatty mood. Just moved into a really nice place. It's on the inter-coastal waterway, and it's on a golf course. The thing about golf courses, throughout my life, I've lived on golf courses on and off. I love golf courses. I hate golfers, but I love golf courses. The best golf course I ever lived on was La Costa in San Diego. I had a lot of adventures on that golf course. Some are unmentionable, but a few were funny. Like, for instance, when I would jog on the golf course, I was chased by the ranger in a golf cart. They didn't like joggers. I don't know what it was, but they just didn't like joggers. And then one day I decided to go out on the golf course, and I just needed a little branch from a tree, so I was about to cut this tiny little branch off. Who's coming around but the ranger, the same guy? He says, "What are you doing?" I says, "Well, I'm doing research for the University of San Diego." He says, "Well, this is private property." Who knew? And I'm standing there. The thing about that story is that I stood there holding the branch up, making sure that he wouldn't notice that I cut it for about 10 minutes while I'm chatting with the guy. Finally, he left, and I was able to run away with my tail between my legs. It was a terrible thing. The thing about La Costa, if I can just mention this, La Costa was started by three guys. It's a very famous resort, country club in San Diego, and it was started by three guys who had mob connections. It's an interesting story how that place got built. I stayed there myself several times. It's a beautiful resort. And one time I was talking to the general manager. I was having dinner with the general manager. And he would tell us these stories about, in the early days, we're talking 50s, 60s, if they needed money to make the payroll, they'd send a guy to Las Vegas, and the guy came back with suitcases full of cash. That's where they got their payroll. So it was connected. It was, in fact, it was connected. There were stories circulating back in the 60s, and I think even Barbara Walters was married to one of the three guys. Very wealthy guy. But the best golf story of all belongs to my father. My father was a pro at a small golf club in Red Bank, New Jersey. One day he's sitting in the clubhouse, and a guy comes up to him and says, "Hey, Jerry, let's play some golf." My father didn't, he looked at the guy, and he's thinking, "I don't want to play golf with this guy. I don't want to have anything to do with this guy." Well, he had to play because he was a pro. And who's the guy? Well, the guy was Vito Genovese, who at that time was head of the New Jersey mob. So it was a foursome. They teed off the first hole. First hole is a very long par 5. And they get down to the green, and they're around the sand trap. And behind that hole was a highway. And they're just about to chip onto the green when they hear pop, pop, pop. And what happens? Well, all four of them dive into the sand trap. They figure it's gunfire going off. And then my father raises his head up, and Vito raises his head up. Well, what? My father says, "Hey, guys, that wasn't a gun. That was the cars backfiring on the freeway." That golf game was fairly interesting. And at one point, my father says, "Hey, Vito, how's it going? What's going on? What's new?" "Oh, Jerry, I got so many problems. I can't begin to tell you, It was a real colloquial thing. And in New Jersey, it was heavy with the mob, even in those years, in the 60s. One other thing about my parents, I never knew this. I knew that they went to this affair. This affair was held in New York City about in 1964, and it was the welcoming to America for the Rolling Stones. This man, his name was Jerry Schatzberg, was a good friend of my father's. They were both in the same type of business together, and he was a very well-known photographer. He hosted the party. See, I didn't think my parents went to that party, but it turns out that not only did my father go, but my mother went too. They said it was so loud that they had to walk out. Can you imagine 1964? Anyway, yeah, that's how it is. And that's how it was. I don't know. Let's see. That's the scene in back of me here. That's the waterway. Beautiful place. a good reason for taking the easy way out. I got a good reason for taking the easy way out. It was a day trip, one way ticket, yeah. It took me so long to find out. I found out. She's a big teaser. She took me half the way there. Oh, she's a big teaser. She took me half the way there. She's a day-tripper, one-way ticket, yeah. It took me so long to find out, and I found out. Oh yeah, I found out. I heard it through the grapevine. I found out. I read it in the fortune cookie. I went to see the gypsy. She gave me love potion number 9. I really needed number 10. Tried to please her, only played one night stand. Well, I tried to please her, she only played one night stand. She was a day-tripper, Sunday driver, yeah. It took me so long to find out. I found out. I found out. I hear she's making the rounds. Oh yeah, she's making the rounds. Coming soon to the neighborhood near you. Basically a blues song, you know, I just realized that. Okay, you've been a great audience. Unbelievable. I'm recommending you. Thank you.